Victoria Hayes grabbed the microphone, walked past 300 employees, and stopped directly in front of Nathan Cole. The room went quiet. She looked him straight in the eyes and said, "Will you marry me?" Everyone laughed. Nathan didn't. He held her gaze and answered, "What if I say yes?" The laughter died. Victoria's face went pale. 300 people stopped breathing. No one moved. No one spoke. Then Nathan smiled, the kind of smile that belonged to a man who had buried his wife and raised a daughter alone for 4 years. He wasn't joking. And Victoria Hayes had just made the biggest mistake of her career. Comment below the city you're watching from, so I can see how far this story travels. "What if I say yes?" Nathan's voice carried across the silent room. Victoria stood frozen, microphone still in her hand, her confident smile cracking at the edges. Ryan Mitchell whistled low from somewhere behind Nathan. Holy shit. Victoria recovered first. She forced a laugh too loud, too sharp. "Well, that's quite an answer, Mr. Cole." "You asked a question," Nathan said. "I gave you one back." The tension hung like smoke. People shifted uncomfortably. Someone coughed. Victoria stepped closer, close enough that only Nathan could hear her next words. "I don't joke about marriage," she whispered. "Do you?" Nathan held her gaze. "I buried my wife 4 years ago. I don't joke about anything." Victoria's expression flickered. Something crossed her face. Surprise, maybe. Or recognition. She pulled back slightly, studied him like she was seeing him for the first time. "Enjoy your birthday, Nathan," she said, loud enough for the room, then softer just for him. "We should talk. My office. Monday morning." She turned and walked away. The crowd parted for her like water. Nathan stood there holding a tin of homemade cookies, his heart pounding in his chest. Ryan appeared at his elbow. "Brother, what the hell was that?" "I don't know." "You don't know the CEO of this company just proposed to you in front of everyone and you said yes." I said, "What if?" "Same thing, man. Same damn thing." Ryan shook his head. "You're either the smartest guy in this building or the dumbest. I can't tell which." Nathan looked down at the cookies. They were still warm. "Neither can I," he said. That night, Nathan couldn't sleep. He lay in bed staring at the ceiling, replaying the moment over and over. Victoria's eyes when he'd answered. The way her smile had faltered. The whisper that followed. "I don't joke about marriage." "Do you?" His phone buzzed on the nightstand. He grabbed it, expecting Maria with an update about Emma. It was an unknown number. "You made quite an impression tonight. Be careful what you wish for." Nathan stared at the message. No name, no context, just a warning or a threat. He deleted it and put the phone down. Sleep didn't come until 3 a.m. "Daddy, wake up." Emma's voice cut through the fog. Nathan opened his eyes to find his daughter standing beside the bed, her stuffed bunny clutched against her chest. "What time is it?" he mumbled. "Pancake time." Nathan groaned and checked his phone. 6:47 a.m., Saturday. "I promised, didn't I?" Emma nodded eagerly. "You promised." He dragged himself out of bed and followed her to the kitchen. 20 minutes later, they sat at the small table eating pancakes, Emma's with extra syrup, Nathan's with black coffee. "Daddy." "Yeah, sweetheart." "Maria said you got in trouble at work." Nathan set down his fork. "What did Maria say exactly?" "She said a lady asked you to marry her, and you said yes." Nathan closed his eyes. Maria had been at the party. Of course she'd seen everything. "I didn't say yes," he said carefully. "I said what if." Emma tilted her head. "What's the difference?" "What if means maybe. It means I'm thinking about it." "Oh." Emma chewed her pancake thoughtfully. "Is she nice?" "Who?" "The lady who wants to marry you." Nathan thought about Victoria Hayes, her sharp eyes, her confident walk, the way she'd whispered to him like they were sharing a secret. "I don't know yet," he admitted. I don't really know her. Emma nodded seriously. You should find out. Because if she's nice, maybe she could read me bedtime stories too. Nathan's chest tightened. He reached across the table and squeezed his daughter's hand. Maybe, he said. We'll see. Dad. Monday morning came faster than Nathan wanted. He arrived at the office at 6:45 earlier than usual. His hands were steady, but his mind wasn't. Victoria's invitation echoed in his head. We should talk. My office, Monday morning. He didn't know what she wanted, didn't know if this was about the project, the proposal, or something else entirely. All he knew was that his carefully constructed routine was about to change. At 8:55, his desk phone rang. Nathan Cole. A woman's voice. Professional. Clipped. Speaking. Ms. Hayes will see you now. 12th floor. The line went dead. Nathan stood, straightened his tie, and walked to the elevator. People watched him go. He could feel their eyes on his back, could hear the whispers starting before the elevator doors closed. The 12th floor was quiet. Expensive. The carpet was thicker, the lighting softer. Nathan had never been up here before. Victoria's assistant, a severe-looking woman in her 50s, nodded toward the corner office. She's expecting you. Nathan knocked once and entered. Victoria stood by the window, her back to him. The city stretched out below, gray and endless. Close the door, she said without turning around. Nathan did. Sit. He sat in one of the leather chairs facing her desk. Victoria remained at the window for a long moment, then turned. She looked different today. Less polished. Like she hadn't slept well either. I need to know something, she said. And I need you to be honest. I'm always honest. Good. She walked to her desk and sat across from him. Friday night. When I asked that question, were you mocking me? Nathan blinked. No. Were you trying to embarrass me in front of the company? No. Then what were you doing? Nathan considered the question. He thought about Sarah, about Emma, about 4 years of going through the motions of building walls so high, he'd forgotten there was anything on the other side. I was answering honestly, he said finally. You asked if I'd marry you. I asked what if I said yes. That's not mockery. That's curiosity. Victoria's eyes narrowed. Curiosity about what? About whether you meant it. The silence stretched between them. Victoria leaned back in her chair, studying him like a puzzle she couldn't solve. I've read your file, she said. 3 years at this company. Exemplary performance reviews. Never missed a deadline. Never asked for a promotion. Never stayed late unless absolutely necessary. She paused. Single father, full custody. Wife deceased. Nathan's jaw tightened. Is there a point to this? The point is that you're invisible by choice. You do excellent work, and then you disappear. No office politics, no networking, no ambition, at least not the kind most people have. She tilted her head. Why? Because ambition costs time. Time is what my daughter needs. And what do you need? Nathan met her gaze. I stopped asking that question 4 years ago. Something shifted in Victoria's expression. The corporate mask slipped just for a moment, and underneath it, Nathan saw something he recognized. Loneliness. I was engaged once, Victoria said quietly. I was 28. Rising fast. He said he was proud of me, but every promotion I got, he got smaller. When I made VP, he left. Said he couldn't be with someone who made him feel like a failure. Nathan said nothing. He waited. Since then, I've dated men who wanted my money, my connections, my status. She laughed bitterly. Never me, just what I could do for them. Is that why you asked me? Asked you what? The question. Friday night. Was I just another test, another way to prove that men only want what you can give them? Victoria's eyes flashed. Is that what you think? I don't know what to think. That's why I'm asking. She stood abruptly and walked back to the window. Her shoulders were tense, her reflection ghost-like against the glass. "I asked you because you're different," she said. "Because you looked at me like I was a person, not a CEO. Because when I gave you those cookies, you didn't thank me like I was doing you a favor. You thanked me like I was doing something kind." She turned to face him. "And when I asked you to marry me as a joke, as a stupid impulsive joke, you didn't laugh. You looked at me like you were actually considering it." Her voice dropped. "Do you know how long it's been since anyone looked at me like that?" Nathan stood slowly. He crossed the room until he was standing a few feet from her. "I wasn't considering it," he said. Victoria's face fell. "I was terrified of it," he continued. "Because for a split second when you asked that question, I wanted to say yes. Actually, yes. And I haven't wanted anything for myself in 4 years." Victoria's breath caught. "I don't know you," Nathan said. "I don't know if you're kind or cruel or somewhere in between. I don't know if you'd be good for my daughter or if you'd break her heart. I don't know any of it." He paused. "But I'd like to find out. If you're willing." Victoria stared at him. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Then she said, "My schedule is insane. So is mine. I work 80-hour weeks. I leave at 5 every day, non-negotiable. I don't know how to be in a relationship anymore. Neither do I." Victoria laughed, a real laugh this time, surprised and almost vulnerable. "This is a terrible idea," she said. "Probably." Nathan agreed. "The board will have questions. Let them. People will talk. They're already talking." Victoria shook her head slowly. "You're not what I expected, Nathan Cole." "What did you expect?" "I don't know. Someone who played the game. Someone who wanted something from me." "I want something from you." Her eyes sharpened. "What?" "Dinner," Nathan said. "Wednesday night. My place. Emma will be there. She wants to know if you're nice." Victoria blinked. "You told your daughter about me." She asked why a lady proposed to me at work. 4-year-olds don't miss much. For a moment, Victoria looked almost frightened. Then she smiled, small, uncertain, real. "Wednesday," she said. "I'll be there." Nathan left Victoria's office at 9:47 a.m. By 10:15, the rumors had spread to every floor. "Did you hear the CEO called him to her office for almost an hour? They're definitely sleeping together. He's using his kid to manipulate her. Classic move. She's going to promote him. Watch. By next month, he'll be director." Nathan ignored all of it. He went to his desk, opened his laptop, and got to work. The Henderson account needed attention. 2 new projects were waiting for review. His job hadn't changed just because his personal life had gotten complicated. At 11:30, his phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Careful, Nathan. People are watching." He deleted it without responding. At 12:15, another text. "She's not who you think she is. Ask about the Chicago merger." Nathan stared at the message. Chicago merger. He'd heard rumors about it, a potential acquisition that had fallen through last year, but he didn't know the details. He deleted the message and went back to work, but the words stayed with him. That afternoon, Nathan took a break and walked to the 4th floor. Finance. He didn't know anyone there well, but he needed information. Marcus Webb's office was in the corner. The nameplate on the door read, Senior Finance Director. Nathan knocked. "Come in." Marcus was a tall man in his mid-40s, graying at the temples with the kind of smile that never quite reached his eyes. Nathan had seen him at company meetings, but had never spoken to him directly. "Nathan Cole," Marcus said, standing to shake his hand. "The man of the hour. Have a seat." Nathan sat. "You know who I am?" "Everyone knows who you are after Friday night." Marcus chuckled. "That was quite a show. The CEO proposing to a project coordinator. HR must be having a field day." It was a joke. Was it? Marcus's smile widened. Didn't look like a joke to me. Didn't look like a joke to anyone. Nathan's instincts prickled. Something about this man felt wrong. I heard there was a Chicago merger last year, Nathan said. Do you know anything about it? Marcus's expression didn't change, but something flickered behind his eyes. The Chicago merger. That's ancient history. It fell through because of strategic differences. Why do you ask? Just curious. Curiosity is a dangerous thing, Nathan. Marcus leaned forward. Especially around here, people who ask too many questions tend to find answers they don't want. Is that a warning? It's friendly advice. Marcus stood, signaling the meeting was over. You seem like a good guy, a family man. Focus on your work, go home to your daughter, and don't get involved in things above your pay grade. Nathan stood. Thanks for the advice. Anytime. Marcus extended his hand again. And Nathan, congratulations on catching the CEO's attention. Just remember, attention cuts both ways. Nathan shook his hand and left. In the hallway, he pulled out his phone and looked at the deleted messages. Gone. No way to trace them. But he knew now. Someone was watching him. Someone was warning him. And that someone worked very close to Marcus Webb. Wednesday night arrived faster than Nathan expected. He spent the afternoon cleaning the apartment, preparing dinner. Nothing fancy, just pasta with homemade sauce, the one dish he actually knew how to cook. Emma helped by arranging the napkins and setting out Mr. Buttons at the fourth chair. Mr. Buttons needs a seat too, she insisted. Mr. Buttons doesn't eat pasta. He eats everything. He just does it when we're not looking. Nathan smiled and added a fourth plate. At 6:45, the doorbell rang. Emma gasped and ran to hide behind Nathan's leg. Is that her? I think so. I'm scared. Nathan knelt down to her level. Why are you scared? What if she doesn't like me? Sweetheart, that's impossible. Everyone likes you. What if she doesn't like Mr. Buttons? Nathan glanced at the stuffed bunny waiting at the table. Then we'll know she's not the right person. Emma nodded seriously. Okay, you can open the door now. Nathan walked to the door and opened it. Victoria stood in the hallway holding a bottle of wine and looking more nervous than he'd ever seen her. She wore jeans and a simple blouse, no blazer, no heels. She looked younger, more human. Hi, she said. Hi. I brought wine. I didn't know if you drink wine. Do you drink wine? I should have asked. I can... Victoria. She stopped. Breathe. She took a breath. Let it out slowly. I'm nervous. I know. So am I. He stepped aside. Come in. Victoria entered the apartment. It was small, a living room, a kitchen, 2 bedrooms. Nothing like the penthouse she probably lived in. But it was clean, and it smelled like garlic and tomato sauce, and it was home. Emma peeked out from behind the couch. Victoria crouched down immediately, bringing herself to Emma's level. You must be Emma, she said softly. Your dad talks about you all the time. Emma's eyes widened. He does. Every meeting, every conversation. I have to leave at 5 because of Emma. I can't stay late because of Emma. You're very important to him. Emma looked up at Nathan. Is that true? That's true. Emma turned back to Victoria, studying her carefully. Then she walked closer and reached out to touch Victoria's hair. It's soft, Emma said. Thank you. I like your bunny. Emma grabbed Mr. Buttons from the table and held him up. This is Mr. Buttons. He went to the moon. The moon? That's impressive. He took a rocket ship, but he came back because he missed me. Smart bunny, Victoria smiled. I missed having someone to come back to. That's why I'm here. Emma tilted her head. You don't have anyone, Victoria's smile flickered. Not for a long time. Emma reached out and took Victoria's hand. You can borrow Mr. Button sometimes, but you have to give him back." Nathan watched from the kitchen doorway, his chest tight with something he couldn't name. Victoria looked up at him, her eyes glistening. "Thank you, Emma," she whispered. "I'd like that very much." Dinner was simple, but good. Emma dominated the conversation, telling Victoria about daycare, about her friend Sophie, who ate glue about the ladybug she'd found on the playground. Victoria listened to every word. She asked questions. She laughed in the right places. She didn't check her phone once. After dinner, Emma demanded a bedtime story. "Daddy always reads Goodnight Moon," she said. "But maybe you could read it tonight." Victoria glanced at Nathan. "Is that okay?" "If Emma wants it." They went to Emma's room, a small space filled with stuffed animals and picture books. Emma climbed into bed, Mr. Buttons tucked under her arm, and Victoria sat on the edge of the mattress. She read the entire book, her voice soft and steady. Nathan stood in the doorway watching. When she finished, Emma's eyes were already closing. "Victoria," Emma murmured. "Yes, sweetheart." "You're nice." Victoria's breath caught. "Thank you, Emma." "And you smell like cookies," Victoria laughed quietly. "That's the best compliment I've ever received." Emma was asleep within minutes. Victoria stood slowly and walked to the doorway where Nathan waited. They stood there together looking at the sleeping girl. "She's perfect," Victoria whispered. "She's everything." Victoria turned to face him. "Nathan, I need to tell you something." "What?" "I don't know how to do this. Any of this. I haven't been in a relationship in 10 years. I work constantly. I have enemies at the company who would love to see me fail. Being with me means—" Nathan kissed her. It wasn't planned. It wasn't smooth. It was clumsy and sudden and completely unlike him. But it stopped her from talking. When he pulled back, Victoria stared at him breathless. "I don't care about your enemies," Nathan said. "I don't care about the company. I care about you. And Emma likes you. That's all that matters." Victoria's eyes filled with tears she didn't let fall. "This is going to get complicated," she said. "I know. People will try to destroy us. Let them try." Victoria reached up and touched his face. "You're either the bravest man I've ever met," she said, "or the most foolish." Nathan smiled. "Probably both." Across town, Marcus Webb sat in his home office, staring at his computer screen. The audit was scheduled for next month. The numbers wouldn't survive scrutiny. 18 months of careful theft about to unravel. He needed a distraction, a scandal, something to redirect the board's attention. He pulled up Nathan Cole's employee file and smiled. The single dad who caught the CEO's heart. Perfect. Everyone loved a scandal. And Marcus was about to give them one. He opened his email and began composing a message to the board of directors. Subject line: concerns regarding CEO conduct. By morning, Nathan Cole's life would be in ruins, and Marcus Webb would be safe. Marcus Webb sent the email at 6:47 a.m. He sat in his home office, coffee growing cold beside him, and watched the message disappear into the digital void. Subject line: concerns regarding CEO conduct and potential conflict of interest. Recipients: all 7 members of the board of directors. The email was carefully worded. No accusations, no proof, just questions. Has the board been made aware of the CEO's personal relationship with a subordinate employee? Are there concerns about favoritism in project assignments? Should HR conduct an investigation into potential policy violations? Marcus leaned back and smiled. He didn't need proof. He just needed doubt. Doubt would spread like fire through dry grass. By the time anyone thought to look at the real numbers, his numbers, Nathan Cole, would be the only thing anyone was talking about. His phone buzzed. A text from his contact on the board. Received. This is serious. Emergency session scheduled for Friday. Marcus typed back, "Just doing my duty to the company." He finished his coffee and got dressed for work. The first domino had fallen. Nathan woke up Thursday morning feeling something he hadn't felt in years. Hope. Stupid, dangerous, wonderful hope. He lay in bed for a few extra minutes, staring at the ceiling, replaying the previous night. Victoria reading to Emma. Emma's small hand reaching for Victoria's. The kiss that had surprised them both. His phone buzzed. A text from Victoria. "I can't stop thinking about last night." Nathan smiled and typed back, "Neither can I. Emma is amazing. You're amazing. I don't deserve any of this. You deserve more than you think." A pause. "Then lunch today. The coffee shop on 5th. I'll be there. 12:30. Nathan got out of bed and started his morning routine. Shower. Coffee. Wake up Emma. Make breakfast. Check the babysitter's schedule. Pack Emma's daycare bag. "Daddy, is Victoria coming back?" Emma asked over her cereal. "I don't know, sweetheart. Maybe." "I hope so. She reads good." Nathan smiled. "She reads well." "That's what I said." He dropped Emma at daycare and drove to work, arriving at 7:42. The parking garage was quiet. The elevator was empty. Everything seemed normal. But when he stepped onto the 3rd floor, he felt it immediately. The silence. People were at their desks, but no one was talking. No morning chatter, no jokes about the weekend, just the click of keyboards and the occasional cough. Ryan was waiting at Nathan's desk. "We need to talk," Ryan said quietly. "Break room, now." Nathan followed him without asking questions. The break room was empty. Ryan closed the door and turned to face him. "What's going on?" Nathan asked. "You tell me. What happened between you and Hayes?" "What do you mean?" "I mean the entire building is talking about it. Someone sent an email to the board this morning. Questions about you and Victoria. Words like conflict of interest and favoritism are being thrown around." Nathan's stomach dropped. Who sent it? Anonymous. But whoever it was, they knew details. The dinner at your place, the fact that she met Emma. Ryan's expression was grim. "Nathan, how would anyone know that?" "Did you tell someone?" "No. Only Maria knew, and she wouldn't." Nathan stopped. Maria hadn't known about the dinner. He hadn't told her, which meant someone had been watching, following, gathering information. "This is bad," Ryan said. "HR is already asking questions. The board has an emergency meeting tomorrow. If they decide this is a policy violation, you're done. Maybe she's done too. I haven't done anything wrong. Doesn't matter. The appearance is enough. You know how this works." Nathan's mind raced. Someone had targeted him. Someone who knew about his relationship with Victoria before it had barely begun. Someone who wanted to destroy them both. "I need to talk to her," Nathan said. "Be careful. Every move you make is being watched." Nathan left the break room and went straight to his desk. He pulled out his phone and sent a text to Victoria. "We have a problem. Someone sent an email to the board about us." Her response came 30 seconds later. "I know. I'm handling it. Stay calm. Don't do anything until we talk. Lunch is still on, yes. But not the coffee shop. Too public. I'll send you an address." Nathan put his phone away and tried to focus on work. It was impossible. Every time someone walked past his desk, he felt their eyes on him. Every whispered conversation seemed to be about him. At 11:15, his email pinged. A message from HR. "Mr. Cole, please report to Conference Room B at 2:00 p.m. for a brief discussion regarding company policy. This is not a disciplinary meeting." Nathan read the message 3 times. Not a disciplinary meeting, which meant it absolutely was. He forwarded the email to Victoria. Her response, "Don't go alone. I'll have my assistant meet you outside the room." At 12:25, Nathan left the building and drove to the address Victoria had sent. It was a small Italian restaurant in a neighborhood he didn't recognize, the kind of place tourists never found and locals guarded jealously. Victoria was already there, sitting in a corner booth with her back to the wall. She looked tired. The corporate polish was gone, replaced by something rawer. Nathan slid into the seat across from her. "How bad is it?" he asked. "Bad. The board wants answers. Someone's been feeding them information about us, details they shouldn't have. Our coffee meetings, the night at your apartment, the fact that Emma liked me." She shook her head. "It's too specific. Someone's been watching." "Who?" "I don't know yet, but I have suspicions." "Marcus Webb." Victoria looked up sharply. "Why do you say that?" "I went to his office on Monday, asked about the Chicago merger. He got defensive, told me to focus on my work and stay out of things above my pay grade." "You asked about the Chicago merger?" "Someone sent me anonymous texts, told me to ask about it. Told me you weren't who I thought you were." Victoria's expression hardened. "And you didn't think to mention this before?" "I was going to. Then Emma demanded you read her a bedtime story, and I got distracted." Victoria almost smiled. Almost. The Chicago merger was a disaster. We were acquiring a smaller firm, but the deal fell through at the last minute. The official story is that we discovered financial irregularities in their books. The real story is that someone leaked confidential information to a competitor and they swooped in first. "Someone from your company?" "I suspected. I could never prove it, but I had a theory." She paused. "Marcus Webb was the lead financial analyst on that deal. He had access to everything." Nathan leaned forward. "You think he sabotaged it?" "I think he profited from it. The competitor who bought the firm, Marcus's brother-in-law, sits on their board." Victoria's voice dropped. "I've been quietly investigating him for months. I think he's been embezzling from the company, small amounts at first, then larger. But every time I get close to proof, something else comes up. A crisis. A distraction. Like me. Like you." She reached across the table and took his hand. "Nathan, I think Marcus is trying to destroy you to protect himself. If the board is focused on a scandal between us, they're not looking at the financial reports. They're not asking questions about the numbers. So, what do? We be careful. We don't give them anything else to use against us. And I keep digging until I find proof." "And the HR meeting this afternoon? Go. Answer their questions honestly. Don't volunteer information they don't ask for. My assistant will be outside if you need anything." Nathan squeezed her hand. "I didn't sign up for corporate warfare when I kissed you last night." "I know. I'm sorry." "Don't be. I'd do it again." Victoria's eyes softened. For a moment, she looked vulnerable. Young, nothing like the CEO who commanded boardrooms and intimidated executives. "Emma asked if you're coming back," Nathan said. "What did you tell her?" "I told her I didn't know." Victoria was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, "Tell her yes. Tell her I'm coming back. But it might take a while. She'll understand. She's patient, like her father." Victoria laughed softly. "I hope that's true, because this is going to get worse before it gets better." They finished lunch quickly, both too anxious to eat much. Nathan paid the bill despite Victoria's protests. "I asked you to marry me," she said. "The least I can do is buy lunch. You asked as a joke. And you answered seriously. That changes things." Nathan walked her to her car. They stood in the alley behind the restaurant, hidden from view. "I want you to know something," Victoria said. "Whatever happens with the board, whatever they decide, I don't regret any of this. I don't regret the cookies. I don't regret the question. I don't regret last night." "Neither do I." She kissed him. Brief, fierce, like she was memorizing him. "Be careful today," she whispered, "and call me after the HR meeting." Then she was gone. Nathan drove back to the office, his mind churning. Marcus Webb, the Chicago merger, the anonymous texts. Someone had been planning this for weeks. maybe months. And Nathan had walked right into the trap without even knowing it existed. At 1:55 p.m. he walked to conference room B. Victoria's assistant, a woman named Patricia, was waiting outside. "Ms. Hayes asked me to observe," Patricia said. "You have the right to have a witness present." "Thank you." They entered together. The room was small, a single table with 4 chairs. 2 people were already seated, a woman from HR named Janet and a man Nathan didn't recognize. "Mr. Cole, please have a seat," Janet said. "This is David Park from legal." Nathan sat. Patricia took the chair beside him. "As stated in the email, this is not a disciplinary meeting," Janet continued. "We simply need to clarify some details regarding company policy." "What details?" "We've received concerns about your relationship with CEO Victoria Hayes. Can you describe the nature of that relationship?" Nathan chose his words carefully. "Ms. Hayes and I have had professional interactions regarding project work. Recently, those interactions have become personal." "Personal how?" "We've had dinner together, outside of work." Janet made a note. "How many times?" "Once." "Once." Janet glanced at David, then back at Nathan. "Mr. Cole, are you aware that company policy requires disclosure of romantic relationships between employees, particularly when there's a reporting imbalance?" "I'm aware of the policy." "And have you filed a disclosure?" "No. The relationship is very new. We haven't had time." "But you admit there is a relationship." Nathan paused. He thought about what Victoria had said. "Answer honestly. Don't volunteer information." "I admit I'm interested in her," he said. "And she's interested in me. Beyond that, I don't know what we have yet. We've had one dinner. It's too early to define." Janet made another note. "Mr. Cole, we've received information suggesting that Ms. Hayes has shown favoritism toward you. Project assignments. Recognition at company events. Can you comment on that?" "I've received the same assignments I've always received. Difficult projects that other people don't want. If that's favoritism, then I've been receiving it long before Ms. Hayes became CEO." "And the recognition?" "I did good work. She acknowledged it. That's not favoritism. That's management." David from legal leaned forward. "Mr. Cole, has Ms. Hayes ever promised you anything in exchange for your personal involvement with her promotions raises special treatment?" Nathan felt anger flicker in his chest. "No, she's never promised me anything. I've never asked for anything." "Have you discussed your career advancement with her?" "No." "Have you discussed anyone else's career advancement with her?" "No." David made a note. "One more question, Mr. Cole. Have you received any unusual communications recently? Emails, texts, messages from unknown sources?" Nathan hesitated. "The anonymous texts. The warnings about Victoria." "I've received a few texts from unknown numbers," he said. "They seemed like they were trying to create doubt about Ms. Hayes. I deleted them." Janet and David exchanged a glance. "Do you remember what they said?" Janet asked. "One warned me to be careful. Another told me to ask about the Chicago merger. I assumed someone was trying to manipulate me." "Did you ask about the Chicago merger?" "I mentioned it to Marcus Webb. He told me to mind my own business." Another exchanged glance. This time Janet's expression shifted slightly. "Thank you, Mr. Cole," she said. "That's all we need for now. You're free to go." Nathan stood. "Am I in trouble?" "We're gathering information. No decisions have been made." He left the conference room with Patricia. In the hallway, she spoke quietly. "You did well. I'll report to Ms. Hayes." "What happens now?" "We wait, and we hope the truth comes out before the lies bury it." The rest of the afternoon passed slowly. Nathan tried to work, but concentration was impossible. At 4:45, he packed up his things and headed for the elevator. Ryan caught him at the door. "How did it go?" "I don't know. They asked questions. I answered." "That's it." That's it. For now. Ryan nodded slowly. Watch your back, brother. Something about this whole situation feels wrong. I know. Nathan picked up Emma from daycare and drove home. They ate dinner together, pizza Emma's second favorite. She talked about her day while Nathan listened and tried to pretend everything was normal. At bedtime, she asked again about Victoria. Is she coming back? Yes, sweetheart. She said yes. Emma smiled and hugged Mr. Buttons close. Good. I like her. She's sad like you, but she smiles anyway. Nathan's throat tightened. What do you mean sad like me? You're sad sometimes, Daddy. When you think I'm not looking, Victoria is sad too. But when she looks at you, she's not sad anymore. Nathan kissed her forehead. How did you get so smart? Mr. Buttons teaches me. He turned off the light and stood in the doorway for a long moment, watching his daughter drift off to sleep. Out of the mouths of babes. His phone buzzed. A text from Victoria. The board meeting is tomorrow at 10 a.m. I've been asked to attend and answer questions about our relationship. Nathan typed back. What's going to happen? I don't know. But I won't lie. I won't deny what we have. Neither will I. Nathan. Yeah. Thank you. For not running away. I buried my wife and raised a daughter alone. I don't run from hard things. A long pause. Then, I think I'm falling in love with you. Nathan stared at the message. His heart pounded in his chest. He typed, I think I already fell. The next morning, Marcus Webb arrived at work early. He had work to do. The board meeting was in 3 hours, and he needed to make sure the right questions were asked. He sat at his desk and pulled up Nathan Cole's employee file. Perfect record. No complaints, no disciplinary issues. Untouchable except for one thing. His relationship with the CEO. Marcus had planted the seeds. Now he needed to fertilize them. He opened a new email and attached a file, a confidential document outlining the company's upcoming merger plans, information that only executives were supposed to see. He changed the file name to something innocuous, Q4 Budget Projections Review. Then he sent it to Nathan Cole. The email arrived at 8:47 a.m. Nathan was at his desk trying to focus on actual work while his mind churned with anxiety about the board meeting. He saw the email from Marcus Webb and frowned. They had no projects together, no reason to communicate. He opened it anyway. Nathan. Could you review these projections and give me your thoughts? Need a fresh perspective from operations. Nathan opened the attachment. The first page looked like a standard budget document. He scrolled to the second page. His blood went cold. This wasn't a budget projection. This was a confidential merger proposal. Dates, figures, target company's information that could move stock prices if it leaked. Information he was absolutely not authorized to see. He closed the document immediately. His hands were shaking. This was a setup. It had to be. Marcus was creating evidence, making it look like Nathan had access to confidential information he shouldn't have. He pulled out his phone and called Victoria. It went straight to voicemail. Victoria, call me back immediately. Marcus just sent me a confidential merger file disguised as a budget document. I think he's trying to frame me. He hung up and stared at his computer screen. The email sat there innocuous, looking deadly. He should delete it, forward it to HR, do something. But whatever he did there would be a record, and that record could be twisted to make him look guilty. His desk phone rang. He grabbed it. Nathan Cole. Mr. Cole, this is Janet from HR. We need you to come to conference room A immediately. Bring your laptop. What's this about? We've received a complaint about unauthorized access to confidential documents. Your name has been mentioned. Nathan's heart stopped. It was already happening. Marcus hadn't waited for the board meeting. He was accelerating the timeline, creating chaos. I'll be right there, Nathan said. He grabbed his laptop and walked toward the conference room. As he passed the elevators, the doors opened and Victoria stepped out. She saw him, saw the look on his face. "What happened?" she asked. "Marcus sent me a confidential merger file. Now HR wants to talk about unauthorized access." Victoria's expression hardened. "Don't say anything. I'm coming with you." "You can't. The board meeting can wait. This is more important." They walked together toward conference room A. People stared. Whispers followed them like shadows. Inside the room, Janet sat with David from legal and two people Nathan didn't recognize. Their expressions were grim. "Ms. Hayes?" Janet said, surprised. "This is a personnel matter. Mr. Cole is my employee. I have a right to be informed of complaints against my staff. Given the nature of the allegations, your presence creates a conflict of interest." "What allegations?" David cleared his throat. "We've received information that Mr. Cole has been accessing confidential documents without authorization. Documents related to an upcoming merger." "That's absurd," Victoria said. "What documents?" "A file was sent to his work email this morning. He opened it." Nathan stepped forward. "That file was sent to me by Marcus Webb. The subject line said it was budget projections. I opened it, realized it was confidential information I shouldn't have, and closed it immediately. I was about to report it when you called." The room went silent. "You're saying Marcus Webb sent you this file?" Janet asked. "Check the email logs. It came from his account." David made a note. "We'll verify that. But the fact remains that you opened a confidential document. Under false pretenses. I didn't seek it out. I didn't download it. I didn't share it." "That may be true, Mr. Cole. But until we investigate, you'll need to surrender your laptop and be placed on administrative leave." Nathan felt the floor drop out from under him. "Administrative leave," he repeated, "for opening an email someone else sent me. It's standard procedure during an investigation." Victoria stepped between Nathan and the HR team. Her voice was ice. "This is a setup," she said. "Someone is trying to frame Nathan Cole, and I will not stand by while my company becomes a weapon against an innocent man. Ms. Hayes, I understand your feelings, but you don't understand anything. I've been investigating Marcus Webb for months. I believe he's been embezzling funds and covering his tracks. This accusation against Nathan is a distraction, a way to redirect attention from his own crimes." The room went very quiet. David leaned forward. "Those are serious allegations, Ms. Hayes. Do you have proof?" "I have an independent audit scheduled. The results will be ready within 2 weeks." 2 weeks is a long time. In the meantime, we have a clear policy violation that requires immediate action. Victoria's jaw tightened. "What action?" "Mr. Cole will be suspended with pay pending investigation. His access to company systems will be revoked. He is not to contact any employees or discuss this matter publicly." Nathan looked at Victoria. Her face was pale, her hands clenched into fists at her sides. "I understand," Nathan said quietly. "I'll cooperate fully." "Nathan," Victoria started. "It's okay." He met her eyes. "You warned me this would get worse before it got better. You were right." He handed over his laptop and walked out of the conference room. Victoria caught up with him at the elevator. "I'm going to fix this," she said. "I promise." "I know. Marcus won't get away with this. I believe you." The elevator doors opened. Nathan stepped inside. "Victoria." "Yes." "Tell Emma I'll be home early today. We can make pancakes together." Victoria's eyes glistened. "I will." The doors closed. Nathan rode down to the parking garage alone. His career was in ruins. His reputation was destroyed. Everything he had built over 3 years had been demolished in a single morning. But as he walked to his truck, he realized something strange. He wasn't angry. He was calm. Because for the first time in 4 years, he wasn't fighting alone. Someone was standing beside him. Someone believed in him. Someone was willing to risk everything to protect him. He didn't know if they would win this battle. He didn't know if Victoria could find the proof she needed, He didn't know if his name would ever be cleared, but he knew one thing for certain. He had chosen the right woman to love, and that was enough. Nathan drove home through empty midday streets, picked up Emma from daycare early, and spent the afternoon making pancakes and playing with Mr. Buttons. When Emma asked why he wasn't at work, he said, "Daddy has some time off." "Is that good?" "It could be. We'll see." That night, after Emma fell asleep, Nathan sat on the couch in the dark living room. His phone was silent. Victoria was probably still fighting with the board, still trying to defend herself and him against accusations designed to destroy them both. At 11:47 p.m., his phone finally buzzed. A text from Victoria. "The board meeting didn't go well. They're demanding my resignation unless I cut ties with you." Nathan's chest tightened. "What did you tell them? I told them no." Victoria. "You can't lose your job because of me. I'm not losing anything. I'm choosing. There's a difference." "What does that mean?" "It means I have 2 weeks to prove Marcus is guilty. If I can't, I lose everything. If I can, we both walk free. And if you can't prove it..." A long pause. Then we figure out the next chapter together. Nathan stared at the message for a long time. Then he typed, "Together." Victoria's response came immediately. "Together." Nathan set down his phone and looked out the window at the dark city beyond. 2 weeks. 14 days to find proof of a crime, clear his name, and save the woman he was falling in love with. The odds were terrible. But Nathan Cole had never run from hard things. He wasn't about to start now. The first 3 days of suspension were the hardest. Nathan woke up each morning at 6:45 out of habit, then lay in bed staring at the ceiling with nowhere to go. No projects to review, no emails to answer, no routine to anchor him. Emma noticed immediately. "Daddy, why are you still in your pajamas?" "Daddy's taking some time off, remember?" "But you look sad again." Nathan forced a smile. "I'm okay, sweetheart. Just thinking." "About what?" "Grown-up stuff." Emma climbed onto the couch beside him and tucked Mr. Buttons into his lap. "Mr. Buttons says you should stop thinking so much. He says thinking makes people tired." "Mr. Buttons is pretty smart." "I know. He went to the moon." Nathan pulled his daughter close and held her. She smelled like strawberry shampoo and pancake syrup. She was warm and solid, and real, the only thing in his life that made sense anymore. His phone buzzed. A text from Victoria. "Audit team started today. Going through 18 months of financial records. Marcus doesn't know yet." Nathan typed back, "How long until you have something? Days? Maybe a week. The amounts are small and well hidden. He's been careful. And the board. Breathing down my neck. They gave me until Friday to reconsider my position. That's 5 days. I know. I'm working as fast as I can." Nathan set down his phone. 5 days. Victoria had 5 days to prove Marcus was guilty, or she would lose everything: her job, her reputation, her career. All because she refused to abandon him. He should tell her to walk away, to save herself, to let him take the fall alone. But he knew she wouldn't listen. And truthfully, he didn't want her to. For 4 years, he had carried everything alone. The grief, the bills, the exhaustion. The weight of being both mother and father to a child who deserved more than he could give. For the first time, someone was sharing that weight. He wasn't ready to let that go. On day 4, the anonymous messages started again. Nathan was making lunch for Emma when his phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "She's going to lose. You should cut your losses and disappear." He deleted it without responding. An hour later, another one. "The audit won't find anything. Marcus moved the money. You're both dead. Delete." That evening, after Emma was asleep, a third message arrived. "Check your mailbox." Nathan walked to the front door of his apartment and opened the mailbox mounted on the wall. Inside was a manila envelope with no return address. He opened it carefully. Inside were photographs, Him and Victoria at the Italian restaurant. Him and Victoria in the alley behind the restaurant kissing. Him and Victoria walking into his apartment building the night she came for dinner. Someone had been following them, documenting everything. A handwritten note was attached to the photos. These go to the press tomorrow unless you resign from the company and end all contact with Victoria Hayes. You have until midnight. Nathan stared at the photographs. His hands were shaking not from fear, but from anger. He called Victoria. Nathan, what's wrong? Someone's been watching us. They have photos. They're threatening to send them to the press unless I resign and cut contact with you. Silence on the other end. Then, what kind of photos? Us at the restaurant. Us kissing. Us at my apartment. How did they... Victoria stopped. Marcus. It has to be Marcus. He's trying to force us apart before I can finish the investigation. The deadline is midnight. Don't respond. Don't do anything. I'll handle this. How? I don't know yet. But I'm not letting him win. Not like this. Victoria, if these photos go public, then they go public. I don't care. I'm not ashamed of being with you. But your career is not worth more than you. Nothing is. Nathan closed his eyes. Victoria, I mean it, Nathan. I've spent 20 years building something. A title. A reputation. A corner office with a view. And you know what I realized? None of it matters. It's all just walls I built to keep people out. And now I want to tear them down. For you, for Emma, for the chance to have something real. Nathan felt his throat tighten. I don't know what to say. Say you'll wait for me. Say you won't give up. I'll wait. I won't give up. Then we'll figure this out. Together. The line went dead. Nathan put down the phone and looked at the photographs one more time. Then he walked to the kitchen, pulled out a lighter, and burned them one by one over the sink. The deadline came and went. The photos never appeared. On day 5, Victoria called at 7 a.m. We found something. Nathan sat up in bed, suddenly wide awake. What? A pattern. The auditors identified a series of payments to a vendor that doesn't exist. Shell company registered to a P.O. box in Delaware. Over the past 18 months, Marcus has funneled nearly $400,000 through that account. That's enough to fire him. It's enough to arrest him, but there's a problem. What problem? The board meeting is in 3 hours. They're going to demand my resignation before I can present the evidence. Marcus knows we're close. He's accelerating the timeline. Can you delay the meeting? I tried. They refused, said their decision is final. Nathan got out of bed and started getting dressed. What if I came to the meeting? Nathan, you're suspended. You're not allowed on company property. Then suspend me again. Fire me. I don't care. But I'm not letting you face this alone. This could make things worse. Or it could show them we have nothing to hide. Victoria was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, The meeting is at 10, third floor conference room. Security will try to stop you. Let them try. At 9:45 a.m., Nathan pulled into the parking garage and walked toward the elevator. His heart was pounding, but his steps were steady. The security guard at the lobby desk looked up as he approached. Mr. Cole, you're not supposed to be here. I know. I need to see Ms. Hayes. I can't let you through. You've been suspended. Then call her. Tell her I'm here. The guard hesitated, then picked up the phone. A brief conversation. He hung up and looked at Nathan with surprise. She says to let you through. Nathan walked to the elevator and rode up to the third floor. The doors opened onto a corridor full of employees who stopped talking when they saw him, who stared as he walked past. He found the conference room at the end of the hall. Through the glass walls he could see the board members seated around a long table. Victoria stood at the head facing them. Nathan opened the door and walked in. Every head turned toward him. Mr. Cole, one of the board members said, an older man with gray hair and cold eyes. You're not authorized to be here. I'm aware. Then leave, now. No. The room went silent. Nathan walked to Victoria's side and faced the board. "You're about to demand her resignation," he said. "You're about to fire the best CEO this company has ever had because she refused to throw me under the bus. Before you do that, I want you to hear the truth." The gray-haired man leaned forward. "We've heard enough. You've heard lies. You've heard manipulation. You've heard exactly what Marcus Webb wanted you to hear." The name landed like a bomb. Eyes flickered. Someone shifted uncomfortably. Nathan continued. "Marcus Webb has been stealing from this company for 18 months. He created a shell company, funneled payments through fake invoices, and pocketed nearly $400,000. When Victoria started investigating, he panicked. He needed a distraction, so he created one." "And you're the distraction?" another board member asked. "I'm the scapegoat. The single dad who got too close to the CEO. The perfect scandal to cover up the real crime." "These are serious accusations, Mr. Cole. Do you have proof?" Victoria stepped forward. "I do." She pulled out a folder and slid it across the table. "Independent audit results, bank records, shell company registration documents, everything you need to prosecute Marcus Webb for embezzlement and fraud." The board members looked at each other. The gray-haired man opened the folder and began reading. The room was silent for a long moment. Then the door burst open. Marcus Webb stood in the doorway, his face red with anger. "What the hell is going on here?" "Marcus," Victoria said calmly, "we were just discussing your accounting practices." "My accounting practices are none of your business. They are when they involve stealing from the company." Marcus's expression flickered. Fear. Just for a second. Then he recovered. "That's absurd. I've given 20 years to this company. I'm not going to stand here and be accused by a woman who's sleeping with her subordinates." Nathan stepped forward. "Watch your mouth." Marcus turned to him with a sneer. "Or what? You're nobody, Cole. A project manager, a babysitter. You think because you got the CEO into bed you matter? You're nothing. I'm the man you tried to frame." "I didn't frame anyone. You sent me that merger file, disguised it as budget projections, set me up to look like I was accessing confidential information." "Prove it." "We have the email logs," Victoria said. "We have the original file metadata. We have everything, Marcus." Marcus's face went pale. He looked at the board members, searching for allies, finding none. "This is a setup," he said. "She's trying to protect her boyfriend by destroying me." The gray-haired board member looked up from the folder. "Mr. Webb, these documents are quite damning. Bank transfers totaling $387,000 to a company that appears to exist only on paper. That's a legitimate vendor. A vendor with no employees, no office, and no tax records." Marcus's mouth opened and closed. No words came out. "I think we've heard enough," the board member said. "Mr. Webb, you're terminated effective immediately. Security will escort you from the building. Legal will be in contact regarding criminal charges." Marcus stood frozen for a moment. Then his face twisted with rage. He lunged at Nathan. Nathan saw it coming. He stepped aside, grabbed Marcus's arm, and twisted it behind his back. Marcus yelped in pain. "Don't," Nathan said quietly. "It's over." Security arrived 30 seconds later. They took Marcus by both arms and led him out of the conference room. He was still shouting as they dragged him toward the elevator. "This isn't over. You'll pay for this, both of you." The elevator doors closed. The shouting stopped. Nathan released a breath he didn't know he'd been holding. Victoria touched his arm. "Are you okay?" "Yeah. You... better than okay." She turned to face the board. Her voice was steady. "I believe this concludes the matter of my resignation. Unless there are any objections." The gray-haired man shook his head slowly. "No objections, Ms. Hayes. You have the board's full confidence." "And Nathan Cole." "Mr. Cole is to be reinstated immediately, with our apologies." Victoria nodded. "Thank you. Now if you'll excuse us, we have some work to do." She took Nathan's hand and led him out of the conference room. In the hallway, employees had gathered to watch. They had seen Marcus being dragged away. They had heard the shouting. Now they stood in silence, watching Nathan and Victoria walk past. Ryan stepped forward from the crowd. "So, you're back." Nathan almost smiled. "I'm back." "Good, because the Henderson account is a mess without you." "Some things never change." Victoria led Nathan to the elevator. The doors closed, sealing them in silence. "You didn't have to do that," she said. "Do what?" "Come here. Risk everything. Stand up in front of the board like that." "You were fighting for me. The least I could do was fight beside you." Victoria turned to face him. Her eyes were glistening. "I've been alone for so long," she whispered. "I forgot what it felt like to have someone in my corner. Now you know." She kissed him. Not a quick kiss, not a careful kiss. A deep, desperate kiss that said everything words couldn't. When they finally pulled apart, the elevator had reached the 12th floor. "Come to my office," Victoria said. "We need to talk about what happens next." They walked to her corner office. The city stretched out below them, gray and glittering in the morning light. Victoria closed the door and turned to face him. "Nathan, I need to ask you something." "Anything?" "That question I asked at your birthday party. The one that started all of this." Nathan's heart began to beat faster. "I asked if you would marry me," Victoria said, "and you asked what if you said yes." "I remember." "Well, I'm asking again. And this time, I'm not joking." Nathan stared at her. "Victoria, I know it's fast. I know we've only been together for a few weeks. I know there are 1,000 reasons why this is a bad idea." She stepped closer. "But I've spent my whole life being careful, making safe choices, protecting myself from getting hurt. And now I want to take the risk. I want to choose you. I want to wake up next to you every morning and read bedtime stories to Emma every night. I want to build something real, something lasting, something worth fighting for." She took his hands in hers. "Nathan Cole, will you marry me?" The words hung in the air between them. Nathan thought about Sarah, about the life they had planned together, the dreams that died when she did. He thought about 4 years of loneliness, of going through the motions of building walls so high he forgot there was anything on the other side. Then he thought about Emma, about Mr. Buttons, about pancakes on Saturday mornings and bedtime stories and the simple ordinary moments that made up a life. And he thought about Victoria, the way she looked at him, the way she fought for him, the way she made him feel like he wasn't alone anymore. "Yes," he said. Victoria's breath caught. "Yes. Yes. I'll marry you." She laughed, a bright, surprised sound that filled the room. "You're supposed to be the one proposing," she said. "You beat me to it, twice. I'm efficient. You're perfect." He pulled her close and kissed her again. When they finally broke apart, Victoria was crying. Happy tears. The kind that come when something broken finally starts to heal. "We should tell Emma," Nathan said. "Now. Tonight. I want her to be the first to know." Victoria smiled through her tears. "She's going to ask if I'll keep reading bedtime stories. Every night. And making pancakes on Saturdays. That's my job. You can supervise." Victoria laughed. "Deal." That evening, Nathan picked up Emma from daycare and drove home. Victoria met them at the apartment at 6:30, carrying a bag of groceries and a bouquet of flowers. Emma ran to greet her at the door. "Victoria? You came back. I promised, didn't I?" "Did you bring cookies?" "Something better. I brought ingredients. We're going to make cookies together." Emma's eyes went wide. "Really? Really? But first, your daddy and I have something to tell you." They sat together on the couch, Nathan and Victoria side by side, Emma on Nathan's lap with Mr. Buttons clutched to her chest. "Emma," Nathan said carefully, "you know how you asked if it would be okay for Daddy to have someone new in our life?" Emma nodded. "Like a special friend." "Right. Well, Victoria and I have decided to become more than friends." Emma looked at Victoria, then back at Nathan. "What does that mean?" Victoria leaned forward. "It means I want to be part of your family, Emma, if that's okay with you." "Like a mommy." Nathan's throat tightened. He hadn't expected her to make the connection so quickly. "In a way," he said. "Victoria could never replace your mommy, but she could be something new, something different." Emma considered this seriously. Then she turned to Victoria. "Do you know how to make French braids?" Victoria blinked. Yes, I do. Daddy doesn't know how. He tries, but they always fall out. I could teach him, or I could do them for you." Emma nodded slowly. "And you'll read bedtime stories. Every night you want me to. And you'll be here when I wake up." Victoria's eyes glistened. "As often as I can. I have to work sometimes, but whenever I'm not working, I'll be here." Emma looked at Nathan. "Daddy, do you love her?" The question hit Nathan like a punch to the chest. He looked at Victoria, her hopeful expression, her trembling smile, and felt something unlock inside him. Something he had kept locked away for 4 years. "Yes, sweetheart. I love her." "And she loves you," Victoria answered before Nathan could. "More than anything." Emma nodded decisively. "Okay, then she can stay." Nathan laughed a surprised, relieved sound. "Just like that. Mr. Button says when you find good people, you should keep them." Victoria reached out and took Emma's small hand in hers. "Mr. Buttons is very wise." "I know, he went to the moon." They made cookies that night, all 3 of them in the small kitchen, flour on their faces and chocolate on their fingers. Emma stood on a step stool and mixed the dough while Victoria guided her hands. Nathan watched from the doorway, his heart fuller than it had been in years. This is what he had lost when Sarah died. This is what he thought he would never have again. A family. After the cookies were done and Emma was in bed, Nathan and Victoria sat together on the couch. The apartment was quiet. The city hummed softly outside the windows. "Thank you," Nathan said. "For what? For fighting for me. For choosing me. For being here." Victoria leaned her head against his shoulder. "I should be thanking you. You gave me something I didn't know I was missing." "What's that?" "A reason to come home." Nathan put his arm around her and held her close. "So what happens now?" he asked. "Now we figure out the details. The logistics. Where we live, how we combine our lives, how we explain to HR that the CEO is marrying a project coordinator. They're going to have questions. Let them. I'm tired of hiding. And the board? They owe us, both of us. After everything that happened, they're not in a position to object." Nathan smiled. "You've thought this through. I'm a planner. It's what I do." "And if something goes wrong?" Victoria looked up at him. "Then we handle it. Together." Together. The word felt like a promise. Nathan kissed the top of her head. "I should warn you," he said. "Emma is going to ask for a dog. I like dogs. And she's going to want you to come to every dance recital, every school play, every soccer game. I wouldn't miss them. And she's going to call you at 3 a.m. when she has a nightmare, and she's going to want pancakes on Saturday mornings, and she's going to talk your ear off about Mr. Buttons until you know more about that rabbit than any grown adult should." Victoria laughed softly. "Nathan?" "Yeah. I know what I'm signing up for. I want all of it. The chaos. The mess. The 3 a.m. phone calls." She turned to face him. "I want you. Both of you." Nathan looked at her for a long moment. Then he pulled her close and held her like he never wanted to let go. "Then you've got us," he whispered. "For as long as you want us. How about forever?" Nathan smiled. Forever works. They stayed like that for a long time. Two people who had found each other against all odds, holding on to something precious in a world that had tried to tear them apart. The battle was over. The war was won. And for the first time in 4 years, Nathan Cole believed in happy endings. But life, he would learn, had one more surprise in store. Because 3 floors below in his empty apartment, Marcus Webb sat in the darkness with his phone in his hand. He had lost everything. His job. His reputation. His freedom was next, the lawyers had made that clear. He had nothing left. Nothing except rage. He pulled up Nathan Cole's address and wrote it down on a piece of paper. Then he grabbed his car keys and walked out the door. If Marcus Webb was going down, he wasn't going down alone. Marcus Webb drove through the city with his hands white-knuckled on the steering wheel. The streetlights blurred past him. The radio played something he didn't hear. His mind was a loop of rage and humiliation, replaying the moment security had grabbed his arms and dragged him out of that conference room like a criminal. 20 years. He had given that company 20 years of his life, and they had thrown him away because of a project manager and a CEO who couldn't keep her hands to herself. He pulled up Nathan's address on his phone, a modest apartment complex on the east side, working-class neighborhood, the kind of place a single dad with a 4-year-old would live. Marcus had done his research. He knew everything about Nathan Cole, the dead wife, the daughter named Emma, the babysitter named Maria who picked up the kid on Tuesday and Thursday afternoons. He knew Nathan would be home tonight, probably with Victoria, celebrating their victory while Marcus's entire world burned to ash. The thought made his stomach twist with hatred. He parked 3 blocks away and walked the rest of the distance. The night air was cold. His breath came out in white puffs. He shoved his hands in his pockets and felt the weight of the gun against his hip. He had bought it 6 months ago. For protection, he told himself at the time. Chicago was a dangerous city. A man needed to defend himself. Now he had a different kind of defense in mind. Marcus reached the apartment building and stood outside looking up at the windows. 3rd floor. Lights on. Movement behind the curtains. They were home. He pulled out his phone and dialed a number he had memorized weeks ago. Nathan's cell phone. It rang 3 times before someone picked up. "Hello?" Nathan's voice. Calm, unsuspecting. "Nathan Cole," Marcus said. "We need to talk." A pause. "Marcus, how did you get this number?" "I know a lot of things, Nathan. I know where you live. I know your daughter's name. I know Victoria is with you right now." Another pause. Longer this time. "What do you want?" "I want you to come outside, alone. We're going to have a conversation." "I'm not coming outside. Then I'm coming up, and I'm not going to be polite about it." Marcus heard muffled voices on the other end. Nathan talking to Victoria. Then Nathan came back on the line. "Victoria is calling the police." "Good. That gives us about 8 minutes before they arrive. Plenty of time." "Time for what?" "Time for you to hear what you've done to me. Time for you to understand what you've taken from me." "I didn't take anything from you. You did this to yourself." Marcus laughed. It was an ugly sound, sharp and broken. "You really believe that, don't you? You think you're the hero of this story? The good guy who won? The single dad who got the girl?" His voice dropped. "You're not a hero, Nathan. You're a nobody who got lucky. And luck runs out." "Marcus, listen to me. Whatever you're thinking about doing, don't. It's not worth it." "Worth it?" Marcus's voice cracked. "I lost everything. My job, my reputation. My wife is leaving me. My kids won't look at me. I'm facing criminal charges that will put me in prison for years. That's not my fault." "Yes, it is. If you had just stayed in your lane, if you had just kept your head down and done your job like everyone else. But no, you had to catch her attention. You had to be different." "I didn't ask for any of this." "Neither did I. Marcus shouted. "I was fine before you came along. I had everything under control. Then you showed up with your sad eyes and your dead wife's story, and suddenly Victoria couldn't see anyone else." Nathan's voice hardened. "Leave my wife out of this. Your wife is dead, Nathan, and soon you will be too." The line went silent. Marcus smiled and hung up. He walked toward the building entrance and pushed through the door. Inside the apartment, Nathan lowered the phone and looked at Victoria. "He's coming up." Victoria's face was pale. "The police are on their way. 5 minutes." "That's not fast enough." "Nathan, don't." "Take Emma to the bathroom. Lock the door. Don't come out until I tell you it's safe." "I'm not leaving you." "Victoria." Nathan grabbed her shoulders and looked into her eyes. "Emma is in the next room. She's 4 years old. If something happens and she sees it, she'll never recover. I need you to protect her. Please." Victoria's eyes filled with tears. "What about you?" "I'll be fine." "You don't know that." "No, I don't." He kissed her forehead. "But I know I can't let him near her. That's all that matters." Victoria hesitated for one more moment. Then she turned and ran to Emma's room. Nathan heard her voice, soft and urgent. "Emma, sweetheart, we're going to play a game. We need to hide in the bathroom and be very, very quiet." "Why?" Because it's a hiding game, and we have to win." "Is Daddy playing too?" "Daddy's going to find us, but we have to hide first." Nathan heard the bathroom door close and lock. He took a breath and turned toward the front door. 3 seconds later, someone knocked. Not a polite knock. A heavy, demanding knock that rattled the frame. "Nathan, open the door. I know you're in there." Nathan didn't move. "I can kick it down. These doors aren't strong. One good hit and I'm inside." "The police are on their way, Marcus. You have maybe 3 minutes. Whatever you're planning, it's not going to work." 3 minutes is plenty." A crash. The door shuddered but held. Another crash. The frame cracked. Nathan stepped back, his heart pounding. He looked around the apartment for something, anything he could use as a weapon. His eyes landed on a metal baseball bat in the corner, a gift from his brother last Christmas, still wrapped in plastic. He grabbed it and tore off the wrapper. The third crash broke the door open. Marcus stepped through, his face twisted with rage. In his right hand, he held a gun. "Put that down," Marcus said, gesturing at the bat. "Put yours down first." "I don't think so." Marcus raised the gun and pointed it at Nathan's chest. "Where's Victoria?" "Gone. She left through the fire escape." "Liar. Her car is still outside." Nathan's grip tightened on the bat. "What do you want, Marcus?" "I want you to suffer. Like I'm suffering. Shooting me won't make your suffering go away." "No, but it'll make me feel better." Marcus took a step closer. His hand was shaking slightly, adrenaline or fear or both. "You know what the worst part is," Marcus said. "I actually liked you. When you first started at the company, I thought you were a decent guy. Quiet, hardworking, didn't make waves. I'm still that guy." "No, you're not. That guy would have known his place. That guy would have stayed invisible." Marcus's voice cracked. "But you had to fall in love with her. You had to ruin everything." "I didn't ruin anything. You were stealing from the company for 18 months. You got caught. That's not my fault." "It is your fault," Marcus screamed. "If Victoria hadn't been distracted by you, she never would have looked at those reports. She never would have ordered the audit. She was too busy thinking about you to do her job properly, and then suddenly she wasn't." Nathan stared at him. "So you're blaming me for the fact that she did her job? I'm blaming you for existing." Silence stretched between them. Nathan could hear sirens in the distance, getting closer. "The police will be here in 2 minutes," he said. "Maybe less. Right now, you're looking at criminal charges for fraud and embezzlement. If you shoot me, you're looking at murder. Life in prison. No parole." "I'm already going to prison." "Not for life, not yet. You still have a chance to walk away from this." Marcus laughed bitterly. "Walk away to what? My wife is gone. My kids hate me. My career is over. I have nothing left. You have your life. My life is worthless. Then make it worth something. Put down the gun. Face the consequences. Serve your time. When you get out, start over. Start over. Marcus's voice broke. I'm 53 years old. By the time I get out of prison, I'll be 60. 60 years old with a criminal record and no family and no future. That's still better than dead. Is it? Marcus's hand steadied. The gun pointed directly at Nathan's heart. Is it really? The sirens were louder now, maybe 1 minute away. Nathan took a slow breath. Marcus, I know you think I'm your enemy. I know you think I destroyed your life. But the truth is, you destroyed it yourself. Every choice you made, the embezzlement, the frame-up, the threats, those were your choices, not mine. Shut up. I'm a single dad who lost his wife and raised a daughter alone. I didn't ask to fall in love with Victoria. I didn't ask for any of this. It just happened. I said shut up. And if you kill me tonight, you won't feel better. You'll feel worse. Because you'll spend the rest of your life knowing you took a father away from his little girl. You'll spend the rest of your life knowing you destroyed an innocent family because you couldn't handle the consequences of your own actions. Marcus's gun hand trembled. My daughter is 4 years old, Nathan continued. Her mother died when she was 6 months old. I'm all she has. If you pull that trigger, she grows up an orphan. She grows up wondering why her daddy had to die. She grows up broken like I was broken, like you're broken right now. Stop it. Is that what you want? To break a 4-year-old girl, to make her suffer for the rest of her life because you couldn't face what you did? I said stop. Marcus's hand was shaking violently now. Tears streamed down his face. I can't, he whispered. I can't go to prison. I can't face my kids. I can't. Yes, you can. People survive worse things every day. I survived losing my wife. Victoria survived 20 years of loneliness. You can survive this too. How? One day at a time. One choice at a time. Starting with this one. Nathan lowered the baseball bat slowly. He set it on the ground and straightened up his hands, empty his chest exposed. I'm not going to fight you, he said. If you want to shoot me, but you'll have to look me in the eyes when you do it. Marcus stared at him. The gun wavered. The sirens were right outside now. Red and blue lights flashed through the windows. Put it down, Marcus. It's over. Marcus's face crumpled. The rage drained out of him, replaced by something else. Defeat. Exhaustion. The weight of everything he had done crashing down on him all at once. His arm dropped. The gun clattered to the floor. I'm sorry, Marcus whispered. I'm so sorry. Nathan kicked the gun away and stepped back as the front door burst open and police officers flooded into the apartment. On the ground. Now. Marcus dropped to his knees without resistance. His hands went behind his head. He didn't fight as they cuffed him, didn't protest as they read him his rights. He just knelt there broken while Nathan watched. One of the officers approached Nathan. Sir, are you okay? I'm fine. My fiancé and daughter are in the bathroom. We'll need statements from everyone. Of course. Nathan walked to the bathroom door and knocked gently. Victoria, it's me. It's safe. The door unlocked. Victoria emerged, her face streaked with tears. Emma clutched to her chest. Is it over? Victoria asked. It's over. Emma looked up at him with wide, frightened eyes. Daddy, what happened? Nathan knelt down and took her in his arms. She was shaking. A bad man came to our house, he said softly. But the police caught him. He can't hurt us anymore. Was he the man who made you lose your job? Yes, sweetheart. The same man. Emma buried her face in his shoulder. I was scared. I know, baby. I was scared too. But you stopped him. Nathan looked at Victoria over Emma's head. Their eyes met. "We stopped him together," he said. The next few hours were a blur of police interviews and paperwork. Officers took statements from Nathan, Victoria, and even Maria, who arrived after getting Nathan's panicked text and refused to leave until she knew Emma was safe. Marcus was taken away in handcuffs. The charges now included breaking and entering menacing with a deadly weapon and criminal threatening on top of the fraud and embezzlement charges he was already facing. His lawyer would argue diminished capacity. Mental breakdown. The stress of losing everything had pushed him over the edge. But that was for the courts to decide. By midnight, the apartment was quiet again. The broken door had been temporarily secured with plywood. The police had left. Maria had taken Emma to her house for the night. Both Nathan and Victoria agreed that Emma shouldn't sleep in the apartment until they could make it feel safe again. Nathan and Victoria sat on the couch in the dark living room. Neither of them spoke for a long time. Finally, Victoria broke the silence. "I thought I was going to lose you." Nathan turned to look at her. "You didn't." "When I heard him kick down the door, when I heard you talking to him." Her voice broke. "I wanted to come out. I wanted to help you, but I had Emma in my arms and I couldn't. I couldn't risk." "You did the right thing." "Did I? You could have died while I hid in a bathroom." "You protected Emma, that's what mattered." Victoria shook her head. "It's not enough. I should have—" "Victoria." Nathan took her hands in his. "Stop. You did exactly what I asked you to do. You kept our daughter safe. That's the only thing I cared about." Victoria looked at him. "Our daughter." Nathan paused, realizing what he had said. "I'm sorry," he said. "I didn't mean to assume." "No." Victoria squeezed his hands. "Don't apologize. I like it. Our daughter." She leaned into him, and he wrapped his arms around her. "I was so scared," she whispered. "I've never been that scared in my life." "Neither have I." "How did you stay so calm when you were talking to him? You sounded steady, like you knew exactly what to do." Nathan was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "I was thinking about Sarah." Victoria pulled back slightly. "Your wife." "When she was in labor, something went wrong. The doctors were rushing around. Everyone was shouting, and I was just standing there useless. I couldn't do anything to help her. I couldn't save her." "Nathan." "Tonight, when Marcus pointed that gun at me, I had the same feeling. That same helplessness. But this time, I wasn't going to just stand there. This time, I was going to fight." "You didn't fight. You talked him down." "Sometimes that's the same thing." Victoria reached up and touched his face. "You're a good man, Nathan Cole." "I'm trying to be. You're succeeding." She kissed him, soft, gentle, full of everything they had almost lost. When they pulled apart, Nathan said, "We should get some sleep. It's going to be a long day tomorrow. Stay with me. Always." They didn't move to the bedroom. They just leaned into each other on the couch, holding on, letting the silence settle around them. Eventually, Victoria's breathing slowed and deepened. She was asleep. Nathan stayed awake a while longer, staring at the boarded-up door, thinking about how close he had come to losing everything. 4 years ago, he had stood in a hospital room and watched his wife slip away. He had held her hand as her heart stopped, and something inside him had died with her. He had spent the years since then going through the motions. Working, parenting, surviving, but not living. Not really. Then Victoria had walked into his life with a tin of cookies and a ridiculous question, and everything had changed. He had found something he thought he had lost forever. Hope. And tonight he had almost lost it again. But he hadn't. They were still here. Both of them. And tomorrow, they would start rebuilding. Nathan closed his eyes and let himself drift. The sun was rising when he woke up. Victoria was still asleep, her head on his shoulder, her hand resting on his chest. Nathan watched her for a moment, memorizing the details, the curve of her jaw, the way her hair fell across her face, the small smile that played at the corners of her lips, even in sleep. He loved her. He knew that now with a certainty that surprised him. Not the desperate, all-consuming love of his youth. Not the comfortable, settled love of his marriage to Sarah. This was something new. Something forged in fire and tested by pain. This was the love of two broken people who had chosen to be broken together. His phone buzzed on the coffee table. A text from Maria. Emma is awake and asking for both of you. She wants pancakes. Nathan smiled and typed back, "We'll be there in 30 minutes. He gently shook Victoria's shoulder. "Hey, wake up." She stirred, blinked, and looked up at him. "What time is it?" "Almost 7. Emma wants pancakes." Victoria smiled sleepily. "Of course she does." "We should go. Maria's place is 20 minutes away." "Okay." Victoria sat up and stretched. "But I need coffee first." "I'll make some." Nathan went to the kitchen and started the coffee maker. While it brewed, he looked around the apartment, the broken door, the overturned furniture, the general chaos of the night before. It would take time to fix, time to clean up, time to make this place feel like home again. But that was okay. They had time now. Victoria joined him in the kitchen, still rumpled from sleep, but somehow beautiful anyway. "I've been thinking," she said. "About what?" "About this apartment." Nathan poured 2 cups of coffee and handed her one. "What about it?" "It's small. It's what I can afford." "I know, but..." Victoria hesitated. "What if we found something bigger together?" Nathan looked at her. "Are you asking me to move in with you?" "I'm asking if you'd consider us finding a place together. Somewhere with a yard for Emma. Somewhere that feels like a fresh start." "Can you afford that?" Victoria laughed. "Nathan, I'm a CEO. I can afford a lot of things. I don't want to be a kept man." "You won't be. We'll split everything. 50-50. Partners." Nathan considered it. A new place. A fresh start. Somewhere without the memories of last night, without the ghost of Sarah in every corner. "Emma would need her own room," he said. "Of course. And a backyard. She's been asking for a dog. We can get a dog. And it needs to be near good schools." Victoria smiled. "I already have a list." Nathan laughed despite himself. "Of course you do. I'm a planner, remember? How could I forget?" He pulled her close and kissed her. She tasted like coffee and sleep, and something else, something that felt like home. "Okay," he said. "Let's find a place." Victoria's face lit up. "Really?" "Really, but Emma gets final approval. If she doesn't like it, we keep looking." "Deal." They finished their coffee and drove to Maria's house. Emma was waiting on the front porch, Mr. Buttons in her arms, bouncing with impatience. "Daddy, Victoria, you're here!" Nathan scooped her up and held her tight. "Hey, sweetheart, how are you feeling?" "Good. Maria made me eggs, but I wanted pancakes." "I know. We'll make pancakes at home, okay?" Emma looked at him seriously. "Is the bad man gone?" "Yes, baby, he's gone. The police took him away." "Good. He was scary." "I know, but he can't hurt us anymore." Emma nodded, then turned to Victoria. "Are you okay? You were crying last night." Victoria crouched down to Emma's level. "I'm okay now. I was just scared. But your daddy kept us safe." "Daddy's brave." "Yes, he is." Emma considered this, then said, "Victoria, are you going to live with us now?" Nathan and Victoria exchanged a glance. "We're thinking about it," Nathan said. "What do you think?" Emma's face lit up. "Really? For real?" "For real. But we might need to find a new house. A bigger one." "With a yard?" "With a yard." "And a dog." Victoria laughed. "And a dog." Emma threw her arms around both of them, trying to hug them at the same time. "This is the best day ever," she declared. Nathan held his daughter and his fiancée in his arms and felt something he hadn't felt in years. Joy. Pure, uncomplicated joy. The past week had been hell. He had been framed, suspended, threatened, and nearly killed. His reputation had been destroyed and rebuilt. His life had been turned upside down. But standing here now with Emma and Victoria pressed against him, none of that seemed to matter. He had survived. They had survived. And the future for the first time in 4 years looked bright. They spent the rest of the morning at Maria's house making pancakes and playing with Emma in the backyard. Maria watched them with a knowing smile. "You're good together," she said to Nathan while Victoria pushed Emma on the swing. "You think so?" "I know so. I've seen you for 4 years, Nathan. I've seen you at your worst, exhausted, overwhelmed, barely holding it together. But I've never seen you like this." "Like what?" "Happy." Nathan watched Victoria laugh as Emma demanded to be pushed higher. "I am happy," he admitted. "It feels strange." "Why strange?" "Because I didn't think I'd ever feel this way again. After Sarah died, I thought that part of my life was over. I thought I'd just exist. Work, take care of Emma, wait for the days to pass. And now I want to live, really live, with them." Maria nodded. "Then do it. Don't waste time. Don't second-guess yourself. Just live." Nathan smiled. "That's good advice. I'm full of good advice. It's why you pay me." That afternoon, they drove back to the apartment to start cleaning up. The landlord had sent someone to replace the door, so at least that was fixed. Nathan and Victoria worked side by side, putting furniture back in place, sweeping up broken glass, erasing the evidence of Marcus's attack. Emma helped by directing where things should go and providing commentary on their progress. "The lamp should go there, not there. Mr. Buttons likes it when the couch is in the corner. Can we paint my room purple when we move to the new house?" By evening, the apartment looked almost normal. Not perfect, but livable. They ordered pizza for dinner and ate it on the living room floor picnic style. Emma talked about the new house, the dog she wanted, a golden retriever named Princess, and the friends she would make in her new neighborhood. Nathan listened to his daughter's excited chatter and felt something settle inside him. Peace. After everything that had happened, there was finally peace. After Emma went to bed, Victoria read her goodnight moon. As promised, Nathan and Victoria sat on the couch together. "When do you want to start looking at houses?" Victoria asked. "Whenever you're ready." "I have some free time this weekend. We could visit a few places." "Sounds good." Victoria was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Nathan, I need to tell you something." "What?" "The board called me this afternoon while you were cleaning the kitchen." Nathan tensed. "And they want to give you a promotion." He stared at her. "What?" "After everything that happened, the framing, the suspension, the way you handled Marcus, they feel like they owe you. The position is Director of Operations. It's a significant step up. Better pay, better benefits, more responsibility." Nathan didn't know what to say. "You don't have to take it," Victoria continued. "I know you value your work-life balance. I know you want to be home for Emma, but I wanted you to know the offer is there." "Director of Operations," Nathan repeated. That's a lot." "It is, but you've earned it. Everyone knows that now." Nathan was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, "Can I think about it?" "Of course. Take all the time you need. It's not about the job. It's about—" He paused, trying to find the words. "For 4 years I've kept my head down, stayed invisible, made myself small so I could be there for Emma. And now suddenly I'm being offered everything I never asked for. A new job, a new house, a new family. Is that a bad thing? No, it's just overwhelming. A month ago, my biggest worry was whether Emma would eat her vegetables. Now I'm engaged to a CEO and being offered a director position, and we're shopping for houses with backyards. Victoria took his hand. We can slow down. We don't have to do everything at once. I know. But I don't want to slow down. That's the thing. Nathan looked at her. I want all of it. I want the job, the house, the dog, the life with you and Emma. I want to stop being invisible and start being present. Then do it. Just like that. Just like that. Victoria squeezed his hand. Nathan, you've spent 4 years putting everyone else first. Emma, your job, your responsibilities. But you deserve good things too. You deserve to be happy. So do you. I know. She smiled. That's why I proposed to you. Twice. Nathan laughed. You're never going to let me forget that, are you? Never. He pulled her close and kissed her. I'll take the job, he said when they pulled apart. And the house, and the dog, and everything else. Are you sure? I'm sure. It's time to stop surviving and start living. Victoria's eyes glistened. I love you, Nathan Cole. I love you too, Victoria Hayes. They held each other in the quiet apartment, two people who had found each other against all odds, who had survived betrayal and threats and violence, who had chosen love over fear. Outside the city hummed with life. Cars passed. Lights flickered. The world kept turning. But inside this small apartment in this moment, everything was still. Everything was perfect. And for the first time in a very long time, Nathan Cole believed that maybe, just maybe, he deserved it. 3 months later, Nathan stood in the backyard of their new house and watched Emma chase a golden retriever puppy across the grass. The dog's name was Princess, exactly as Emma had demanded. She was 8 weeks old, clumsy and enthusiastic, with ears too big for her head and a tail that never stopped wagging. Daddy, look, Princess is learning to fetch. Nathan smiled. I see that, sweetheart. The ball Emma had thrown landed 3 feet away. Princess ignored it completely and ran in the opposite direction, tripping over her own paws. She's not very good at it, Emma admitted. She'll learn. Give her time. Victoria appeared on the back porch, holding 2 cups of coffee. She walked down the steps and handed one to Nathan. How's the training going? Princess has decided that fetch is beneath her dignity. Victoria laughed and leaned into his side. She'll figure it out. She's smart. She ate her own leash yesterday. Smart dogs make mistakes too. They stood together watching Emma and Princess tumble through the grass. The afternoon sun was warm, the sky clear, the neighborhood quiet. It had been 3 months since Marcus Webb had broken down Nathan's door with a gun in his hand. 3 months since Nathan had talked him down, watched him get arrested, and held Victoria and Emma as the police lights faded into the distance. 3 months since everything had changed. The trial had been swift. Marcus pleaded guilty to all charges: embezzlement, fraud, breaking and entering, criminal threatening with a deadly weapon. His lawyer had argued for leniency, citing mental distress and a previously clean record. The judge had not been sympathetic. Marcus Webb was sentenced to 12 years in federal prison. He would be 65 when he got out, if he got out at all. Nathan didn't feel satisfaction when he heard the verdict. He didn't feel vindication or triumph. He just felt tired. Tired of thinking about Marcus, tired of reliving that night, tired of being afraid. So he stopped. He accepted the promotion to director of operations. He and Victoria found a house in a good school district, 4 bedrooms, a big backyard, a kitchen with an island where Emma could sit and watch them cook. They moved in 6 weeks after the attack, and Nathan had never looked back at the old apartment. The company had been surprisingly supportive. After the truth about Marcus came out, public opinion shifted dramatically. Nathan wasn't the scheming employee who had seduced the CEO. He was the victim who had been framed, the hero who had stood up to a desperate criminal. His reputation recovered overnight. Victoria's reputation recovered too. The board that had demanded her resignation was now publicly praising her leadership and vision. The audit she had ordered had saved the company from a scandal that could have destroyed them. She was featured in business magazines, interviewed on podcasts, invited to speak at conferences. She turned down most of the invitations. She said she had better things to do with her time. "What are you thinking about?" Nathan blinked and looked at Victoria. "What?" "You had that look. The distant look. Like you're somewhere else." "I was thinking about how different everything is. 3 months ago I was suspended, accused of crimes I didn't commit, watching my life fall apart. Now I'm standing in my backyard drinking coffee, watching my daughter play with a puppy. Is that a good thing?" "It's the best thing." Victoria smiled and took his hand. "I have something to show you. Inside." "What is it?" "You'll see." They walked into the house, leaving Emma and Princess in the yard. The living room was still half unpacked, boxes in the corners, pictures waiting to be hung, furniture that hadn't quite found its place yet. Victoria led him to the kitchen and pointed to the island. A small velvet box sat there next to a piece of paper. Nathan frowned. "What's this?" "Open it." He picked up the box and opened it. Inside was a simple gold band, a man's wedding ring. "Victoria, I know you said you wanted to wait until things settled down. I know you said we had plenty of time, but I've been thinking, and I don't want to wait anymore." Nathan looked at her. "You're proposing to me again. 3rd time's the charm." She smiled, but there was nervousness behind it. "The first time was a joke. The second time was real, but we were in the middle of chaos. This time I want to do it right." She took a breath. "Nathan Cole, I love you. I love your daughter. I love this life we're building together. I don't want to be your fiancé anymore. I want to be your wife." Nathan looked at the ring in his hand. Simple, elegant, perfect. "When?" he asked. "Whenever you want. Tomorrow. Next week. Next month. I don't care about a big wedding. I don't care about flowers or invitations or seating charts. I just want to marry you." Nathan set down the box and pulled her close. "Next Saturday," he said. Victoria's eyes widened. "Next Saturday? That's 6 days away." "I know. Is that a problem?" "No, I thought you'd want more time to plan. I've spent 4 years waiting for my life to start again. I'm done waiting." He kissed her forehead. "Next Saturday. Small ceremony. Just us, Emma, Maria, Ryan, and whoever else wants to come. No fuss, no drama, just 2 people getting married." Victoria's eyes filled with tears. "Are you sure?" "I've never been more sure of anything." She kissed him hard, desperate, full of joy. When they finally pulled apart, both of them were crying. "I should tell Emma," Victoria said. "We should tell her together." They walked back to the yard, where Emma was now lying on the grass with Princess sprawled across her stomach. "Emma, sweetheart," Nathan called. "Can you come here for a second?" Emma scrambled up and ran over Princess, bouncing behind her. "What is it?" Nathan knelt down to her level. Victoria did the same. "You know how Victoria and I have been talking about getting married?" Emma nodded eagerly. "Yes. You're going to have a wedding." "That's right, and we wanted to ask you something." "What?" Victoria took Emma's hand. "We want to get married next Saturday. Is that okay with you?" Emma's eyes went wide. "Next Saturday? That's so soon." "I know, but we don't want to wait anymore. We want to be a family officially." Emma considered this seriously. Then she asked, "Can Princess come to the wedding?" Nathan laughed. "I don't see why not." "And can I wear my purple dress, the one with the sparkles?" "Of course." "And can I throw flowers? I saw a girl throw flowers at a wedding on TV once." "You can throw all the flowers you want." Emma threw her arms around both of them. "This is the best day ever. We're going to be a real family." Nathan held his daughter and his soon-to-be wife and felt his heart swell with something he couldn't name. Gratitude. Joy. Peace. All the things he thought he had lost forever. The next 6 days passed in a blur of preparation. Victoria handled most of the logistics. She was a CEO after all. Organization was her specialty. She found a venue, a small garden at a historic estate, 20 minutes outside the city, hired a caterer, ordered flowers, and arranged for a justice of the peace to officiate. Nathan handled the guest list. It was short: Maria Ryan and his wife Victoria's assistant Patricia, and a handful of close friends from the company. No family for either of them. Victoria's parents had passed years ago, and Nathan's brother couldn't make the trip on such short notice. But that was okay. They didn't need a big crowd. They just needed each other. On Friday night, the eve of the wedding, Nathan sat alone in the backyard after Emma had gone to bed. The stars were bright overhead. The night was warm. Princess lay at his feet, already exhausted from a day of playing. He heard the back door open and close. Victoria walked across the grass and sat down beside him. "Nervous?" she asked. "No. You? A little. I've never been married before." "Neither have I." "Well, not to you." Victoria was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Do you ever think about her, Sarah?" Nathan looked up at the stars. "Every day." "Do you think she would approve of us?" "I think she would want me to be happy. She wouldn't want me to spend the rest of my life alone." "What was she like?" Nathan smiled. "Kind. Patient. She laughed at my terrible jokes. She could burn water, but she tried to cook anyway because she knew I was tired after work." "She sounds wonderful." "She was, but she's gone. And I had to learn how to live without her." Nathan turned to look at Victoria. "You're not a replacement for her. You're not second best. You're something new. Something I didn't expect. Something good. Something great." Victoria leaned her head on his shoulder. "I love you, Nathan." "I love you too." They sat together in the quiet night, not talking, just being. Two people on the edge of something new. Two people who had found each other against all odds. Princess snored softly at their feet. Eventually, Victoria stood up. "I should go. It's bad luck to see the bride before the wedding." "That's only on the day of the wedding. I'm not taking any chances." She leaned down and kissed him. "I'll see you tomorrow, Mr. Cole." "I'll be the one at the altar, Ms. Hayes." "You'd better be." She walked back into the house. A few minutes later, Nathan heard her car start and pull away. He stayed in the backyard for a while longer, looking at the stars, thinking about everything that had led him to this moment. A birthday party. A joke. A question he hadn't expected to answer. What if I say yes? He had said yes, and it had changed everything. The wedding was small, intimate, and perfect. The garden was filled with white chairs and simple flower arrangements. A string quartet played softly in the corner. The afternoon sun filtered through the trees, casting dappled shadows across the grass. Nathan stood at the altar in a dark blue suit, the nicest thing he owned. Ryan stood beside him as best man, grinning like an idiot. "You nervous yet?" Ryan whispered. "Not even a little." "Good, because she's coming." Nathan looked up. Victoria walked down the aisle on no one's arm. She didn't need anyone to give her away. She was giving herself freely and completely to the man she loved. She wore a simple white dress, no train, no veil, just elegant lines that moved with her as she walked. Her hair was down loose around her shoulders. She carried a small bouquet of wildflowers. She was the most beautiful thing Nathan had ever seen. Emma walked beside her, throwing flower petals with more enthusiasm than accuracy. Princess trotted along behind them, wearing a white bow around her collar. The guests laughed. Nathan smiled. Victoria beamed. When she reached the altar, Victoria handed her bouquet to Patricia and took Nathan's hands. "Hi," she whispered. "Hi," he whispered back. The justice of the peace, a kind-faced woman in her 60s, cleared her throat. "Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to witness the union of Nathan Cole and Victoria Hayes in marriage." Nathan barely heard the words. He was too busy looking at Victoria, memorizing every detail of this moment. The way the sunlight caught her hair, the tears glistening in her eyes, the smile that seemed to come from somewhere deep inside her. Nathan and Victoria have chosen to write their own vows, the officiant said. Nathan, would you like to go first? Nathan took a breath. He hadn't written anything down. He had tried, but the words on paper had seemed hollow, so he had decided to speak from the heart instead. Victoria, he began. 3 months ago, you asked me to marry you in front of the entire company. Everyone laughed because they thought it was a joke. But I didn't laugh. Because when I looked at you, I saw something I hadn't seen in years. He paused. Hope. I had given up on hope. I had given up on love, on happiness, on all the things I thought I lost when Sarah died. I was just surviving, going through the motions, taking care of Emma, waiting for the days to pass. Then you walked into my life with a tin of homemade cookies and a question I didn't know how to answer, and everything changed. Victoria's tears were falling now, but she was smiling. You didn't save me, Nathan continued. I don't need saving, but you reminded me that life is worth living, that love is worth risking, that the future doesn't have to be something I dread, it can be something I look forward to. I love you, Victoria. I love your strength, your kindness, your stubbornness. I love the way you fight for the people you care about. I love that you read bedtime stories to my daughter, and that you let her name our dog Princess. A laugh rippled through the guests. Emma giggled. I don't know what the future holds. I don't know what challenges we'll face or what obstacles we'll overcome. But I know one thing for certain. Whatever comes, I want to face it with you. Today, tomorrow, and every day after. So, here's my answer, Victoria. The answer I should have given you the first time you asked. He squeezed her hands. Yes. Always yes. Forever. Yes. Victoria wiped her eyes and took a shaky breath. My turn. The officiant nodded. Nathan. Victoria began. When I asked you to marry me at that birthday party, I told myself it was a joke, a harmless bit of office humor. But the truth is, I had been watching you for months. I had noticed you in meetings, in hallways, and the way you carried yourself. I noticed that you were different from everyone else. You weren't trying to impress anyone. You weren't climbing the ladder or playing politics. You were just good, genuinely, quietly good. And when I asked that question and you looked at me, really looked at me, something happened. I felt seen. For the first time in years, someone saw me. Not the CEO, not the title, not the corner office, just me. I've spent my whole life building walls, she continued, protecting myself from getting hurt, keeping people at arm's length so they couldn't leave me. But you didn't try to climb my walls. You just stood there patient and steady until I was ready to let them down. You taught me that vulnerability isn't weakness, that asking for help isn't failure, that loving someone, truly loving them, means trusting them with the parts of yourself you're most afraid to show. I love you, Nathan. I love your kindness, your courage, your terrible dad jokes. I love that you put Emma before everything else. I love that you faced down a man with a gun to protect our family. Nathan's jaw tightened at the memory. I don't know what the future holds either, Victoria said. But I know that whatever it is, I want to face it with you. Not because I need you to complete me, but because life is better with you in it. Because every morning I wake up next to you, I'm grateful. Because every night I watch you read to Emma, I feel like the luckiest woman in the world. So here's my answer too, Nathan. The answer I've been trying to give you since the moment we met. She squeezed his hands. Yes. Always yes. Forever yes. The officiant smiled. By the power vested in me by the state of Illinois, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Nathan, you may kiss your bride. Nathan pulled Victoria into his arms and kissed her. The guests cheered. Emma clapped. Princess barked. And somewhere, somehow, Nathan could have sworn he felt Sarah smiling down at them, not with sadness, but with joy. Joy that he had found happiness again. Joy that Emma would have a mother. Joy that the man she had loved was finally, after 4 long years, ready to live again. When they finally pulled apart, Victoria was laughing. "We did it," she said. "We did." Emma ran up and threw her arms around both of them. "Are we a real family now?" Nathan lifted her up and held her between them. "We've always been a real family, sweetheart. Now it's just official." The reception was held in the same garden under strings of white lights as the sun set. There were toasts. Ryan's was embarrassingly enthusiastic. Dancing, Emma insisted on standing on Nathan's feet while he spun her around, and more food than anyone could possibly eat. At one point, Victoria clinked her glass and stood up. "I want to say something," she announced. The guests quieted. "Most of you know how Nathan and I met. You were there when I made a fool of myself at a birthday party and asked a man I barely knew to marry me. You saw him answer in a way that no one expected." She looked at Nathan. "What you might not know is what happened after. The rumors, the accusations, the man who tried to destroy us both because he couldn't face the consequences of his own actions. We survived all of that. Not because we're special, but because we chose each other. Again and again, when it would have been easier to walk away, we chose to stay. So here's what I've learned," Victoria continued. "Love isn't a fairy tale. It's not easy or simple or perfect. It's a choice you make every day, sometimes every hour, to show up for another person, even when it's hard. Nathan Cole is the best man I've ever known. Not because he's perfect, but because he's real. He's honest and kind and brave, and he loves his daughter more than anything in the world." She raised her glass. "To Nathan, thank you for choosing me. I'll spend the rest of my life making sure you don't regret it." The guests raised their glasses. "To Nathan." Nathan stood up and pulled Victoria close. "I already don't regret it," he said. "And I never will." Later that night, after the guests had gone and Emma had fallen asleep in Maria's arms, Maria had insisted on babysitting so Nathan and Victoria could have a wedding night. Nathan and Victoria stood alone in the garden. The lights still twinkled overhead. The music had stopped. The night was quiet. "Mrs. Hayes Cole," Nathan said, "has a nice ring to it. We never discussed names. Do you want to hyphenate?" "I don't care. I just want to be married to you." Nathan laughed. "That's the most romantic thing you've ever said." "I'm a CEO. Romance isn't my specialty. You proposed to me 3 times. I'd say romance is exactly your specialty." Victoria smiled and leaned into him. "What happens now?" "Now we go home. We put Emma to bed. We wake up tomorrow and start our life together." "That sounds normal." "Is normal bad?" "No." Victoria looked up at him. "Normal sounds perfect." They walked to the car hand in hand. The night stretched out before them, full of possibility. 6 months later, Nathan was promoted to Vice President of Operations. The company was thriving under Victoria's leadership, and Nathan's department had exceeded every quarterly target. A year after that, they adopted a second dog, a rescue mutt named Duke, who was Princess's polar opposite, calm, dignified, and completely uninterested in fetch. Emma started kindergarten. She made friends easily, brought home art projects covered in glitter, and asked questions about everything. Why is the sky blue? Where do babies come from? Can Princess and Duke have puppies? Victoria handled the hard questions with the same calm efficiency she brought to board meetings. Nathan handled the bedtime stories, and the scraped knees, and the bad dreams. They made a good team. On their first anniversary, Victoria took Nathan back to the same Italian restaurant where they had hidden from the rumors and planned their counterattack against Marcus Webb. "Remember this place?" she asked. "How could I forget? This is where you told me someone was trying to destroy us." "And what did you say?" Nathan thought back. "I said let them try." Victoria smiled. "You were right. They tried. They failed. We're still here." Nathan reached across the table and took her hand. "I've been thinking," he said. "About what?" About Emma. About our family. Victoria's expression shifted. Hopeful. Nervous. What about it? She asked me something the other day. She asked if she was ever going to have a brother or sister. Victoria's breath caught. What did you tell her? I told her I'd have to talk to you about it. And now you're talking to me. Now I'm talking to you. Victoria was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, I'm 43 years old, Nathan. I know. The chances of conceiving naturally at my age are, I know. I'm not asking for natural conception. I'm asking if you want to be a mother. Victoria's eyes filled with tears. I've wanted to be a mother my whole life. I just thought it was too late. I thought I had missed my chance. It's not too late. We could adopt. We could use a surrogate. We could explore every option until we find one that works. You do that for me. Nathan squeezed her hand. For us, for Emma, for the family we're building. Victoria wiped her eyes. I love you, Nathan Cole. I love you too, Victoria Cole. She laughed through her tears. So we're really doing this. We're going to have another baby. If you want to. I want to. God, I want to. Nathan stood up, walked around the table and kissed her. Then let's do it. 2 years later, Nathan stood in the doorway of the nursery and watched Victoria rock their son to sleep. His name was Daniel. He was 8 months old with Victoria's dark hair and Nathan's eyes. They had adopted him through an agency that specialized in matching children with families who had been waiting, hoping, praying for the chance to love them. Daniel had come to them at 3 days old, small and perfect, and utterly defenseless. Victoria had cried when she first held him. Nathan had cried too. Emma, now 7 years old, had appointed herself official big sister and took her duties very seriously. She read to Daniel every night, even though he couldn't understand the words, supervised his tummy time. Very important for development, she informed them and defended him fiercely from Princess, who had developed an unfortunate habit of trying to lick his face. Is he asleep? Nathan whispered. Victoria nodded and carefully laid Daniel in his crib. He stirred slightly, but didn't wake. They crept out of the nursery and closed the door softly behind them. That's the 3rd time tonight, Victoria said. He's teething. I remember when Emma was teething. I didn't sleep for a month. How did you do it by yourself? Nathan shrugged. You just do. You don't have a choice. Victoria took his hand. You have a choice now. You have me. I know. Best choice I ever made. They walked to the master bedroom and collapsed onto the bed. The house was quiet. Emma was asleep. Daniel was asleep. Even the dogs were asleep, curled up in their beds in the corner of the living room. Nathan. Yeah. Do you remember what you said to me the first time I proposed? I said, what if I say yes? And what did I say? Nathan thought back to that moment, the crowded office, the laughter, the way Victoria's smile had frozen when he didn't play along. You said you didn't like empty jokes. You told me to give you a real answer someday. And you did. 3 times. Victoria laughed softly. 3rd time's the charm. She rolled over and propped herself up on one elbow. I've been thinking about something, she said. What? About everything that happened. The proposal. The scandal. Marcus. The trial. All of it. What about it? If I could go back and change any of it, if I could erase the hard parts and keep only the good, I wouldn't. Nathan raised an eyebrow. You wouldn't. No. Because the hard parts are what made us who we are. They're what proved we could survive anything. They're what taught us that love isn't just a feeling, it's a choice you make when everything is falling apart. Nathan was quiet for a moment. Then he said, I think about Sarah sometimes. Victoria's expression softened. I know. Not with regret, not with longing, just Gratitude. Gratitude for the time we had. Gratitude that she gave me Emma. Gratitude that she loved me enough to want me to be happy again. Do you think she'd approve of all this? The house, the kids, the dogs, the wife who proposed to you at work? Nathan smiled. I think she'd approve of all of it, especially the wife. Victoria leaned down and kissed him. I love you, Nathan Cole. I love you too, Victoria Cole. They lay together in the darkness, listening to the quiet sounds of their sleeping house. Nathan. Yeah. Thank you. For what? For saying yes. Nathan pulled her close and held her tight. Thank you for asking. Outside the city hummed with life. Cars passed. Lights flickered. The world kept turning indifferent to the small miracles happening inside one ordinary house on one ordinary street. But inside that house, two people who had found each other against all odds lay wrapped in each other's arms, surrounded by the family they had built, the life they had created, the love they had chosen. It hadn't been easy. Nothing worth having ever is. But it had been worth it. Every struggle, every setback, every moment of doubt and fear, all of it had led them here. To this house, to this family, to this life. Nathan Cole had spent 4 years alone, carrying the weight of grief and responsibility on his shoulders, convinced that love and happiness were things that happened to other people. Then a woman had asked him a question he didn't expect, and he had given an answer that changed everything. What if I say yes? He had said yes, and in doing so he had found something he thought he had lost forever. A reason to hope. A reason to live. A reason to believe that the future could be brighter than the past. He had found a partner who challenged him and supported him in equal measure. He had found a family that grew and changed and loved each other fiercely. He had found a home where laughter echoed through the halls and bedtime stories never got old, and 2 ridiculous dogs demanded attention at the worst possible moments. He had found happiness. Not the effortless happiness of fairy tales, but the hard-won happiness of real life. The happiness that comes from choosing to show up day after day for the people you love. The happiness that comes from building something together, brick by brick, through good times and bad. Nathan Cole had found his answer, and the answer was yes. Always yes. Forever yes.